Hey Aquarius, Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. So we're going to take what works, leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch your wavelength or storyline here, go check your other major placements. We are checking in with the Oracle decks, Moonology and Work Your Light, to just get an intuitive vibe of where we're going. And then we'll move on to the Muse Tarot for a more traditional tarot spread. All right, a little out of control there, but oh man. Oh, Capricorn just got that one. Okay. Okay, let's start with this one. New moon in Sagittarius. Luck is on your side. Headed right towards something that you want, barring any problems. You should be getting there just fine. You may be feeling unlucky. Or maybe like something's happened that's not lucky, but this card always brings up my favorite Kurt Vonnegut quote: we know so little about life, we don't know what the good news is and what the bad news is. So if you're feeling unlucky, this is some reassurance that you may be luckier than you feel right now. You are very close to achieving your goal. Gibbous moon. So just another little sliver, another little bit there to go. So not to worry, Aquarius. You're very close to achieving their goal. You may need to adjust something. This could also be like you don't need to push to the end here. You don't need to force anything to happen. You're sliding right in because luck is on your side. You don't need to push anything. You don't need to run off to anything. You don't need to break down a wall or trash anything or move very forcefully or even speak forcefully to make something happen. You're really close. You're really close. So looking at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. Again, we have a new moon and a full moon in Sagittarius. So looking at the bigger picture, there may be a few details that aren't quite perfect or exactly the way you wanted them to be. Don't worry about it. Luck is on your side. Keep your eye on the prize. Bigger picture, thinking, don't get bogged down in details. Don't get distracted by details because you're actually a lot closer to something that you want than you think you are. Expect powerful change, new moon eclipse. So this is the one Capricorn just got also. Looking at the bigger picture, luck is on your side. Expecting powerful change. I like that with you're very close to achieving your goal. We also have new moon in Gemini. Communication is key. Things being revealed, you revealing something, communicating about something, having something that's been sort of in the dark, right? I love this new moon eclipse here because it talks about things not known, things very eclipsed, right? An eclipse on a new moon that's just not able to see much, not much revealed, not much understood. You're closer than you think, possibly because you've been traveling in the dark here. Communication is key, new moon in Gemini, talking about something and revealing something or something getting revealed to you. This new moon energy, things starting to come to light and communication beginning. So communication is key. Don't get bogged down in little details. Sometimes communication can be difficult if we're looking for, specific grammatical correctness but more like if I would say this, look at the bigger picture as it refers to conversations, look at the overall energy someone's bringing, not necessarily a specific comment or a specific thing that don't get bogged down in that, but look at the bigger energy or look at the overall relationship or look at the overall conversation and don't get hung up on some little detail in it that could be distracting you from something really wonderful. These are all really wonderful cards. Just communicating, having conversations, looking at the bigger picture, understanding that you may be luckier than you feel right now, and that something that you want is really close. These are all really unusually great combo here. And then we have Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? So this can relate to two things for me. Oftentimes this card comes up in readings where, especially personal readings, where someone, actually mostly in personal readings this card comes up, where someone's very specifically dealing with their mother, and that alerts me to the fact that we're dealing with our mother, right? Or you are dealing with your mother. This could have something to do with a mother figure or a mother in your life. So we all have we all at least have a biological mother because that's how we got here. And so mothers are, There's a whole gamut of moms available. You don't really get to pick. Moms are also people with complex histories themselves, complex issues, their own perspectives, but some of them try harder than others. So there could be issues with your mother coming up right now. This can also be, the other reading of this card is less literal about, it can come up with mother issues, or I don't want to say issues, but you know, because there might be issues, there may not be issues. Working through or communicating with a mother figure or your mother, and then also nurturing yourself, making sure you're nurturing yourself, because mothers are complex people with their own backstories and emotional makeup and what they experienced and what was modeled for them as far as how to be a mother. So it's entirely likely that everyone on this planet, their mother was not able to fulfill every need that they had, just because human makeups of personalities, perspectives, strategies, things we've learned, things we didn't know. So your mother may have left some holes there because because she's a person. So complex and with her own things that she's dealing with. So where your mother was not able to fulfill all of that or be what you needed, make sure you're giving yourself that. And this always reminds me of a song I have in a playlist here on my channel. It's Sinead O'Connor and Mary J. Blige doing This Is to Mother You. And it's a beautiful card. So making sure that you're providing whatever mothering you did not receive or what you wish you had received. You can still receive it, if only from yourself this time instead of somebody else. So past, present, inner landscape, what's the issue, your environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Okay, a lot of new beginnings this week. This is really interesting. We have this 8 of emotions, which is really reminding me of this new moon eclipse. So 8 of emotions is about seeing something you want and heading towards it. Understanding that where you're at isn't the best for you, isn't the best place for you, isn't where this is in your recent past, right? So understanding that where you've been hasn't been meeting your needs. There's a need here. You're in this desert, and it's like the brilliance of the desert, the blindingness that you've been blinded to something, and now there's a lot of irony in the way that this artist depicts this 8 of emotions. Now that this whatever has been blinding you, you've just been moving forward, one step in front of the other. And now that you can see, and you can only see because of this eclipse, now that you've had this moment to see exactly where you are, you really understand how and why this doesn't meet any of your needs. That maybe other people have been fine, maybe other people have handled this just fine, similar situation, they can handle it. They, maybe get a lot out of your mother or think that she's wonderful or great. But you're seeing that you need to move forward. And the 8 of emotions, one thing I like about it is that there's something to move forward to. There's an idea, at least, or an intuition of what would bring you more satisfaction. But this place isn't satisfying. It's not like it may not be terrible or torturous or horrible. It's just not satisfying. It's just not what you need personally. So for the unique being that you are, this place hasn't brought you what you needed. So you've seen that there could be something better. Maybe you don't have all the details worked out, but you're headed towards it. You know that there's something better. You know that this situation isn't quite right for you, and there's something better. And there's an ability to see that and intuit that and move towards it, even though maybe you can't even say like exactly why that situation isn't right for you, but you can feel it and you know it. In your current situation, we have the world cosmos. So this card has it can mean an ending, but what it really means is having come full circle. You're not the same person you were a year ago. You're not in the same place. You've come full circle. It's really referring to the Earth's orbit around the sun. A year has been completed, right? It's the New Year's Day. It's the, first day of spring or something like that. We're back here again. We're back in the same spot, but a year older, a year wiser. We're different. We've changed in that past year. We're very different. So the world cosmos can also talk about just all of those bigger movements, the movements of the planets, which would include seasons, axial tilt, you know, the movements of history, of economy, of weather, all of these larger than life sort of ocean waves that our little boats of our life kind of ride on as we go through life. And so we have more say of what goes on in our little boat, and we have more say about what goes on in here. But as far as these historical and planetary events, we don't have much say. So historical events, totally out of your control, going on here, referencing that also. And maybe even coming back to the place that you were before the huge event, maybe even before coronavirus or something like that, but coming back to where you were before in that same spot. You've been through something now and you're different now, but we're back where we started again. And then in your inner landscape, your hopes, your fears, we have Queen of Emotions. So again, this can be a person, or this can be an aspiration. This could be someone you're thinking about that's on your mind, or this could be someone that you would like to become. Queens are internally focused. They're focused on the inner universe. The Queen of Emotions is going to be focused on her feelings. Not necessarily talking about her feelings, but definitely knowing what they are, exploring them, maybe doing some journaling, something like that. So you'd like to be more in touch with your feelings, or you know someone, because it's a court card, this could be someone else, who does seem much more in touch with their feelings, much clearer on how they feel. They might have a good mind-heart connection here, and where that flow is really going, where the heart is really giving information to the mind, rather than the mind trying to control the heart and tell the heart what it's supposed to be feeling and what it's supposed to be thinking in any situation. We want to have the heart open, the heart radiating, the heart having its experience, and the mind understanding it. The mind can be used to understand those feelings. The mind can be used to navigate what those feelings mean, to understand them, to work with them. But there's a song, I forget what it's called, but it's Now I'm a Heart with a Head on My Shoulders. So you want to be the heart, and your head, you know, can do more of the thinking about it, but it doesn't work the other way around for your head to be telling your heart how to feel. So allowing your heart to be open and to have all of the feelings that it's having, whether they make sense to you or not. That's your brain's job, is to figure out it's to figure out what to do with them, and how to interpret them and how to understand them. But this is a strong internal focus. The external may be looking pretty placid, pretty regular, pretty rhythmic, and as expected. But underneath, there's a lot of intensity here, some really strong emotions going on, being explored, being understood, and that whole sort of watery underworld of feelings being explored and navigated under the surface. So you may be looking to more embody that ideal, or you may be thinking about someone who does seem to have a lot of unspoken emotion underneath the surface here, a lot going on under the surface. What's at issue here is Six of Materials. Feels like an imbalance in resources and work. So this is sort of, Six of Materials is about sort of some sort of volley going on, you know, how we play catch. Is we throw, sometimes we have the ball, sometimes we're catching the ball, sometimes we're throwing the ball. So this can deal with resources, time, money, work, and having it and not having it, having it and not having it. So overall, both parties playing catch are having in possession of the ball equal amount of time. You know, we don't play catch by sawing the ball in half and then having each person take half and doing that level of bean counting. But the Six of Materials in reverse is that there's been an imbalance. It can come into balance, but there's been an imbalance with work and resources, money and time expenditure. You may be feeling on the short end of that balance, that you don't have enough, that you haven't received a fair amount of resources. For, you know, that this game of catch isn't really a game of catch anymore. Maybe somebody walked off the field. This could be about communication, since we already have this communication is key. Catch is a great metaphor for communication. You can throw a ball perfectly. If the other person walks off the field, throws down their mitt, turns their back, they can't catch it, right? And that's not your fault. You're communicating as clearly as possible. You're tossing the ball as well as you possibly can. And it can also be reversed. You can be ready there with the glove, ready to catch something, ready in your athletic stance, go anywhere possible, right? You can have that. And if the other person doesn't want to throw you the ball, throws the ball behind their back, you know, throws wildly or has never thrown a ball before, it's not your fault you're not catching the ball, right? So there's some sort of either communication balance, and I'm saying that because of this card, or material resource imbalance here. It can be balanced out, but both parties would need to want that. But there seems to be sort of either some scarcity or some overwhelm on one side or the other. There's just an imbalance going on. In your environment, you have 8 of Voices. Something in your environment is telling you you're not enough and you can't do something. So normally 8 of Voices is very internal and saying, we're telling ourselves we're not enough, we're telling ourselves we can't do something, we're telling ourselves we're incapable, we could never. The bondage is purely from within. It's my crappy mantra, crappy personal mantra card, where your only limitation is really your own perception of yourself and what you're capable of. But this in your external is really interesting, because it sounds like someone in your environment, possibly this unhealthy environment, this barren environment, where you know you're not going to thrive there. This person could be causing those, or telling you those, or there's something in your environment that's imposing these thought patterns that you are inadequate and that you're trapped. There's something in your environment that might be having you feel very trapped also. You might be freer than you think, but there's something there's a sense of entrapment, and it's coming from your environment. There's something in your environment that's either lying to you, telling you you're more trapped than you are, or is triggering your own crappy mantra of I'm trapped and I can't get out, I can't do this, I can't do this. So there is some bondage here. It's not real bondage, it's psychological bondage, and it's either from someone in your environment or something in your environment is triggering you to go into a place of self-entrapment and self-doubt and a sense of not being able to do something. It could be connected to this Mother card too. They're coming out in the same reading, so it might not be like, and Mother's Day is coming up, don't like go. That's a hard date for a lot of people, right? We have our cultural ideal mother, and then we have the reality, and reality is going to vary from the cultural ideal, but by what percentage depends on person to person. Maybe your mother varies 1% or 2% off of the cultural ideal of what a mother should be. So kudos. I mean, but as I was saying, there's still 1 to 2% off. So make sure you're filling your 1 to 2% up with the mothering energy you wanted to receive. You can still receive it. You'll just be receiving it from yourself right now. Or maybe she's 99% off of the ideal mother. So it's interesting that the Star Mother card is coming up with Mother's Day coming up in a week or so. So we also have your to-do list, what you're here to interact with. This is really interesting. This is the King of Emotions. So this Queen of Emotions is what you're hoping for. If that's not someone that's necessarily on your mind, maybe you're hoping to embody Queen of Emotions. This is saying go a step further. King of Emotions. King of Emotions, this would be communication is key. This would be powerful communication. Muse of Emotions, this is someone who can handle their emotional liquor. Again, with the Queen of Emotions, we've got the flow coming from the heart. The heart is informing the head. The head decides what to do with it. whether it's going to say something nasty in return, whether your head's making these decisions, whether it's going to create conflict in this situation. It might need to, it might be important. The heart may be very clear on that, or it might be like, hey, you know what? I think I can let go of this for this day only, or for this moment. So emotional maturity, that's your to-do list. Emotional maturity, being able to handle every emotion as it comes, being able to deal with them, allowing them to flow through you, allowing them to inform your head. And then the Muse or the Kings are externally focused. So how are we communicating our emotions with the world, or how are we dealing with this? Muse of emotions can also be a very Zen person, very balanced internally, emotionally, even while everything's going on around them. And they provide leadership with that. They can bring that into a conversation, that Zen, that maturity into a conversation. They can bring that into a situation and influence the situation around them with their own calm. So it's bring your own calm, bring your own maturity here, your own emotional maturity. You bring that into the situation. Even if you are dealing with an adult, a parental figure, or something like that, you still can bring leadership. You still can help create, at least you're in charge of your vibe. You're in charge of your vibe, you're in charge of your energy, and you're in charge of your emotional maturity. You can't maybe do it overnight, but you're in charge of that journey to that. So bringing your emotional maturity and your ability to handle roiling emotional events, bringing that to the situation. And then we have possible outcome here, Ace of Inspiration. This is really in the flow of energy and the flow of power, personal power, inspiration, intuition, creative power. There might be something there that begins here, a creative project, something very inspiring. Prepare to be inspired and excited about something. Expect powerful change. That's what we're getting with this Ace of Inspiration. Expect powerful change. It lies beyond emotional maturity, some leveling up. You won't probably achieve pure, unadulterated emotional maturity tomorrow, but you're leveling up into a new level of emotional maturity. This is actually going to bring you a lot of inspiration and powerfully change a situation. So there'll be some newness, a new idea, a new insight, a new inspiration coming in from the divine or from the collective energy, from the universal energy that surrounds us. So being sort of penetrated by that energy, or receiving, in a receiving mode for some new energy and some new inspiration. So new ideas coming in. All right, Aquarius, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you for your likes, subscribes, and comments, and I'll see you in a fortnight.